Today we have Mark Gritton and Forrest Knipple and Josh Sloop with Titan to discuss enterprise communications.
As we are a new brand out in the world. That said, and actually, I'll have you jump right ahead to the next page of who we are. Um, the important thing to see here is the fact that even though Titan Engine as a brand name is brand new, the company is not. The organization itself was actually founded back in 2010, and the company itself, just like the name would imply, was white labeling our communication solutions behind the scenes. So what they did is they initially went out through the MSP and resale world and very quickly grabbed a large group of MSPs that were trying to get into the UC and contact center space to white label our product. And as you can see, we had great success. We have about 700, actually a little over 700 different MSPs that were already selling the organization, over 17,000 customers, 250,000 endpoints, and 17 million minutes of SIP per month. So very, very successful in that endeavor to be able to go to market. What we do,
70 million, not
sorry,
17.
70. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Thank you. But the impetus of Titan Engine was the fact that when you're working through a resale group, you don't have that direct access to the end users. And we knew that we were not getting the full scope of what was possible out there. And so that is why we decided to launch Titan Engine as our strictly uh, through the TSD market, the agent referral channel, as our go-to-market. So we have all of the same underpinnings for support, for billing, for all the things to make us a real company, but we are only going through the agent channel on this side. We do not have a direct sales force. We have never had one. We do not intend to have one. So even when we have our inbound lead generation, the beauty of being able to run through this channel is that now we'll be able to do some MQL type of deal share out to the organizations that we're working with. So that should be a nice little lift for those of you that lean in with us early. Reason we exist, we know that there has been this wild back and forth between going to a bunch of different point solutions and now a consolidation of the number of vendors because of the complexity of the number of solutions that are out there. And quite frankly, the customers are asking more and more to be able to simplify the number of hands they have to shake, hopefully not throats they have to choke, in regards to how they are working with the suppliers. So we have put together a very comprehensive list of solutions, which I'm actually going to jump forward to in the essence of time, and talk to you about all the different things that we already have built, have bought, or continue to set up partnerships on to go to market with. As mentioned originally, we are a UC platform that was built on the 2600 hertz underpinnings. That comes into play a little bit later because UMA had purchased 2600 hertz, and we are now their second largest customer. So that will help us when we get to the EPOTS conversation here later. But from that, we also had a contact center position on that and found another company that we went out and purchased that was called Grupo NGN. And just like white label communications, nobody had ever heard of them, which was crazy because when you got under the covers to see the different types of uh, uh, customers that they had, these are all Fortune 1000 types of companies. These are BPOs with 100,000 call center agents. It's huge. And a lot of it, but you've never heard of them because they were behind the scenes. Well, now we own that IP and we are able to actually bring that to market. And I will tell you that there's been nothing more fun for me than getting into conversations with some of our partners that are out in the world selling to pretty complex contact center solutions and putting us up against your typical NICE and Genesis and Nextiva, et cetera, and saying, holy moly, you guys actually have something new and unique inside of this market. And I'm not talking about features because anybody can build features. So we'll talk about that in a second. But first, I'll also talk about the fact that we have recently built ourselves out to be a distribution partner for one of the top 25 MSSPs in the world to be able to offer a cybersecurity practice. We're going to have a lot more information coming out about that in the next few weeks, frankly. But so I'm not going to hit on that a lot today. But I will say this for anybody that knew me in my previous life, I was running the channel for Coro Cybersecurity. It was one of the first groups that came out with a bundle of cybersecurity solutions specifically for the SMB market. You know, your sub 50 employee type of company that is very, very well underserved inside of that space. No joke. I put together a plan with this group to do a direct Coro takeout because they decided to leave this channel and I'm not. So we're getting excited to be able to talk to you about that later. We have also set up a relationship with Fortinet to be able to go to market on SD-WAN and SASE. So that is also going to be coming out with a lot of additional marketing here very soon. As I mentioned, we're doing a ton of SIP. Obviously, that's a nice layer into our UCaaS and CCaaS. We own and operate our own CPaaS solution. It's one of the only programmable UC type of solutions in that CPaaS market. We also get into messaging and, of course, finally, copper retirement or what we would call EPOTS and EPRI. And if you don't know what copper retirement and EPOTS are, you probably haven't paid a whole lot of attention here over the last few years. But this is one where there's really only a couple major players out there as far as the devices that actually allow for customers to do replacement of copper. Two of the big ones have been Granite and Uma with their Epic and their AirDial solution. We'll talk about that in a moment, but that was where I put my little cursor on our relationship with Uma. Josh, I'll be pushed forward. Why you want to talk to us? Well, number one, if you don't want to have issues with your uptime, this is probably the number one item that I talk to. As a former network guy, one of the very first things I did coming into the company was dig under the covers and say, okay, wait a second, talk to me about how you manage your actual infrastructure. We have got that in spades. If you ever want to geek out with us on what we have under the covers, this is the place where we're going to start because with 9 different data centers already online and not being single threaded to an AWS or an Azure, and you can see some of the other groups that we're working with, that already provides us a really robust network to be able to deliver these services with low latency links across the entire US and even into Canada. The next thing I would tell you, if you go to the next page, is that inside of any of those data centers, we have also built out to at least an N+1 type of interaction. So we have dual redundancy as far as the routers, the firewalls, the switch, the stack, the regions inside of those actual data centers. And I will even take it one layer more. There is a reason that we left groups like CenturyLink and Level 3 and XO on this list, even though they are no longer under those names. Because anybody, again, if you worked in network at all, what you might know is there's been, a few purchases over the years. Well, those are legacy networks, and they don't always operate under the same thread, if you will, within those organizations. So even within a Lumen, within a Verizon, within an AT&T, we have diversity even at that level. You are not going down. We have a 5.9 SLA. It's written. We do not have downtime. And have weathered some of the largest outages in over the last 10 years and continue to layer into this. I'll stop pounding on that. We work. So on the UCaaS space, I'm never going to give you a feature pitch. If you ever catch me giving you a feature pitch, I want you to call it out because that's not where you win. The technology that is out there to be able to do all of the different items inside of a UCaaS solution, quite frankly, are table stakes at this point. And if there's something that somebody else has, we'll have it in a couple months or vice versa. It's not on features. It's how you actually operate. And what I'll tell you is a couple different pieces here. Number one, do I have the integrations to meet the customer where they want to be? And as you can see on here, the Teams integration, obviously a big deal over the years. We can do both direct routing and operator connect. So the basic ways to be able to connect on that. The way that we are actually operating as a carrier of record for a lot of, I'm going to peel back to those MSPs. What the big challenge for them going into the voice area and doing resale was the fact that they have to deal with compliance. They have to deal with taxes. They have to deal with all the different pieces of becoming a carrier themselves when they are taking that on. We actually built a system where we can act as carrier of record for them. Now, why do you care? Well, you care because we are paying attention because we have to protect ourselves from those same fines, from the same compliance items and so on that are going on out there when we actually go and do billing to an end customer. Because of that, we have built out a lot of different tools internally and for our customers around compliance to make sure that we keep them up to date on the latest rules and regulations. And by the way, there's a lot of them. It is a constant challenge for both customers and suppliers to make sure they maintain this. And as time permits, I'll even tell you some stories about one of our customers that we saved their bacon on being able to capture some of the challenges that they were about to create for themselves and would have cost literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines had we not stopped it by stopping it at the source. Josh, have you move forward a little bit? Contact center. So I will tell you, this is probably our fastest up and coming piece in the market, which was crazy considering that there's been some really great contact center solutions out there for quite a while. And some big names, as I mentioned, that have had this on lockdown for a while. This is, again, not going to be a feature conversation. This is going to be about architecture. As you might have heard from what I was talking about with our infrastructure, very much an important piece of the conversation is how we deal with the infrastructure of the actual tool itself. Where we're standing out for a lot of the engineers, the developers, and so on and so forth, is how we actually built the underpinnings of the organization. These become fun conversations as you start thinking about the fact that AI seems to be finding its way in name, if not action, into just about everything we talk about today with your customers. I'll start first, before I go to that slide, is that we have these for simplification of understanding what we have available to you in two different buckets, but that's not how we treat it. We are absolutely going into conversations with customers because of how we've built this out to say, what are you trying to accomplish? What is the end game of what you're trying to create? Because we have already got all the tools and ability within the actual platform to build what they're imagining, not just what is currently available. That makes a lot more sense when we get into a later demo and we can actually show you the live version of this. But I'll just leave it out here that if you get into a very complex contact center or somebody that just has a thought about, could we actually do this? That is our play. The more complex the contact center solution is, the better we show than all the other players that have been out there because of our flexibility, our nimbleness to be able to do this. Josh, can you push forward? Again, we have the entire feature tree. One of the areas that we do different in being able to provide that feature tree, however, is at the bottom here, you'll see OptiChannel. OptiChannel, everybody has probably heard of omnichannel. Omnichannel meaning simply that we meet the customer where they want to be. They have chat, they have video, they have voice, they have social media, they have all these different areas where they want to be able to connect to their end customer. Well, omnichannel means that you have those. Again, it's a feature. What other companies are not doing that we are already today, and we're not just talking about it, we've been doing this, is OptiChannel. And what that means is I can actually bring all of those channels together at the same time. They are working in tandem. So now, instead of switching over from my chat to a voice to my video to whatever between different channels, I can actually have those running simultaneously, which comes into play when I'm doing transcription, when I'm doing translation, and having the capabilities of being able to do a much faster first call to resolve in time with that call center agent. So that is one of the things that we will dig into again further into and show you in real time how that works. Here's your magic bullet. Your silver bullet or magic bullet or however you want to call it, your bullet that is going to be the conversation starter with your customer is the fact that AI is leaking into everything. And the big conversation there is that a contact center or contact center agents, I should say, can be in lots of different practices. They could be your sellers, they could be your technical back-end support, they could be financial, they could fall into a lot of different categories. AI is very good. Sorry if you say that. AI is very good at different things, but not all of them are the best at everything. where you could have a OpenAI be very good at summary or Google being very good at translation and frankly, all these different pieces that can fall into the puzzle. What we're seeing out there in the marketplace right now is that a lot of CCaaS companies have picked a horse. And so they're riding Google because of the translation capabilities. They're riding OpenAI because of summary or whatever else. They have not built it out to be agnostic to the different AI solutions that are out there, and frankly, the ones that are coming. Because the big thing that's happening out in the market right now is that people are feeling the exposure of their IP by using open LLMs. And so they're starting to create their own internal LLM or even short language model to be able to deal with specific items that is IP that they could be utilizing inside of their contact centers, either directly to an agent or directly to their end user through chat or whatever else. The challenge is because of the way they build those tools, most contact center companies do not have a capability of actually integrating to them. We have an open API library and the capability to actually go out and be completely agnostic. We've already got some five different LLMs that are out of the box, but we also have an ability to go directly to where they want to meet us. So when they have their own toolkit, you don't have to turn them away or say, I don't know what to do with this. We're that team. We are that team that you need to bring in on that conversation and change the discussion because it is going to be a significantly different discussion than they've had with any of the other CCAS players out there right now. Maybe push forward one. Actually, I don't have to push forward another one. So I'm going to take a breath. Josh, you want to jump in here on network monitoring?
Yeah. So part of some of the strategic investment we made in the company, one being the contact center, the other being the purchasing of of an organization that provided a network monitoring management tool, right? So everything starts at the WAN level. Doesn't matter what technology you have in place. If the connectivity itself is severely impacted or down completely, having something in place that alerts you ahead of time or as soon as it happens allows you to proactively instead of reactively engage in getting that customer back online. So the nice thing about this solution, as opposed to competitors out there today, your SolarWinds, your Datadogs, your Ninja Ones, is it's completely agentless and hardware agnostic. When I say agentless, we're doing this via direct API integrations into the OEM hardware itself or just through SNMP or ICMP. But there is no need to install any sort of software or hardware in order to enable this. It also does a great job of consolidating multiple locations with different environments into a singular point, into a singular dashboard to give the organization complete visibility of their network and its devices across the entire organization, regardless of state, region, you name it. It is both on the wired WAN and wireless WAN connection as well. So we have a proprietary cellular algorithm built into this as well. And don't think of this as just simply an up-down tool. Like everything else within our organization, it's completely customizable. It can be on the device level, it can also be on the service level. What do I want to have monitored? Is it up, down? Is it data utilization? Is it throughput? Is it packet loss, jitter, latency? You name it. Customer has complete flexibility in which devices, which services, and what are the thresholds. One of the big problems that a lot of organizations have with off-the-shelf SaaS products and the network monitoring space today is as soon as they install this and it's ready to go, they're getting bombarded with tickets or alert cannons. They don't know if it's critical. They don't know if it's just normal network heartbeat checks. So giving the customer the ability to customize their own thresholds on what they want to be alerted on, and more importantly, how they want to be alerted is all at their fingertips. It can be SMS, IMS, email, ticket, combination of all of those. But they have the power to create this to suit their environment. And again, it's natively integrated into the OEM product itself. We already have several in place today: Cisco, Meraki, Fortinet, Digi, Peplink, Cradlepoint, AT&T. We also have out-of-the-box integrations with support systems like ServiceNow, Sharewell, Zendesk. So these are all already natively built. If we don't have an integration in place, we build the integration because it's a win-win for us. It gives us new customers to go after, and it gives the customer the ability to not have to rip and replace their network in order to have something in place that allows them to monitor the most critical part of any organization, which is their WAN connectivity. It gives trends analysis, again, WAM, the ability to do any sort of WAM optimization. It also can give the customers who are looking to reduce cost. A lot of acquisition happens these days. You inherit a lot of customers' infrastructure. You don't know which circuits are live, which are being utilized, and which ones that you can eliminate. Having the ability to have visibility into all of those touch points gives you the ability to now go back in and reduce where you can or increase where you have to. This product provides all of those tools necessary in order to achieve uh, the optimization and monitoring of the customer's network. CPaaS, again, I think
Give us 2 minutes on this one because I definitely want
yeah,
to hit copper
real
retirement.
quick on this one. CPaaS, to my knowledge, we are the only CPaaS provider in the market today that's actually providing programmable UCaaS. And when I say programmable, I mean down to every feature set that you see within an enterprise PBX today. We've broken that down to the API level so that organizations that have existing applications and want to embed and consume voice and messaging into their framework, they can do that with us. It's not just a voice channel, it's all the features that come with that. It's not just a messaging channel, it's all the features that come with that, natively embedding itself into their existing application framework.
All right. So copper retirement, we talked a little bit about this before. Let's keep this very simple. We have agreements with both Granite and with UMA to be able to go with their Epic or their AirDial device, which are arguably two of the best devices that are actually providing this today, so that we can actually go deliver on behalf of the customers. Now, why would we do that when you could just go directly to an UMA or go directly to a Granite? Well, I will tell you from their words. They have challenges with the actual support side of delivering. And so it is easier for them to be able to utilize a company like ours and our scale and capabilities to be able to do the actual site survey, the service delivery, and especially the billing. And they're great partners to us. But the reality is that we are providing a better level of support and still being able to keep in that same realm from a cost standpoint to your end customer to be able to go and deliver on these services. We have got literally thousands of POTS lines at this point that are being ported over to us on behalf of either of those two companies because they prefer to have it running through us. I don't know what else I can tell you on that. But if you're not having some copper retirement conversations, this one is coming to a head here in the next couple of years, and they're trying to accelerate it. We have all the tools to be able to go and see who's next, where FCC filings are, and be able to help you put together a campaign to be able to be very, very surgical in how you want to go after these types of opportunities. And these are absolute door openers with your prospects to be able to talk about the fact that, oh, hey, listen, I have this PBX that I'm trying to retire or I'm trying to depreciate those assets. I'm not really ready to do it today, but if I come in with a solution like this, I can have you ready for the future. We take care of, getting ahead of the retirement of that copper. You still have an ability to use your PBX until it dies or until you're ready to make a move, and you're already set up to make that UCaaS move at a future point. So where do you want to look? I will tell you that the Venn diagram has a tendency to fall for us across all those different solutions. When you can find somebody that is a multi-location opportunity, it has some sort of touch inside of contact centers, whether that be the CX or workforce management or any kind of reporting tools that they have to use, even if it's a small contact center, and they're doing any kind of cloud modernization. The cloud modernization is very simply where they are intending or already making those moves from the old PBX into the UCaaS world, trying to update what they're doing on CCaaS, trying to figure out what they can do better with their WAN. Just slide forward. And what we did for you guys. So if you don't know, now you know. I used to have my own agency, and so I typically look at these things when we put these contracts together from your side of the table, and what would I want and what do I need? Now, obviously, I would love to be able to have the highest residual out there in the world, but I also have to run a business. So we are in the upper half from a commission standpoint of what we do in each one of these realms. But I will leave that up to the Claris team here to be able to explain to you what that looks like to you individually. What I have done and what I can tell you here is lifetime residuals. We're not messing around with any of that evergreen stuff. The reality is that once you bring it to us, once we sell it, any kind of renewals, any kind of add-ons, anything we do to touch that customer, you're getting paid until into perpetuity. So it is up there with anybody else you're going to find from a stability and making sure that you keep your customer. We would love for everybody to be directly involved in renewals. If you're not, I don't care. We're still going to pay you. On the multi-product growth, so this is what's coming down the pipe. We just showed you a whole bunch of different products. Generally speaking, if you sell one of those, we already have those competitive MRC commissions for you. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm bringing to the table an actual residual multiplier so that when you add a second product, there's an additional 1% across the products you sold. You bring a third product, now it's 2% over the top of that. You bring a third or fourth product, now it's 5%. So the bigger we grow, which is already making more revenue for you in the first place, and the stickier that becomes for you and your customer, we're also continuing to grow the residuals you're going to earn from us. I don't know anybody else doing that. If they are, great for them, but we are. So I don't know. Do we have any questions, and how am I doing on time? I think I'm pretty close to time.
Yeah, you are pretty close to time. So I think what we'll do is just make sure we have all your contact information posted for future questions, and then that way they can contact you after this.
Yes, and the easy button on that one is channel at Titan NGN or TitanEngine.com. That'll hit my entire team, whether that's Mark or depending on where you are in the country, we have other territory managers that we'll make sure we get them directly to you. We try to work based on relationships as much as we do on territory. If you have a personal favorite, great. That's where we want to meet you.